Oh, is that the thing? Oh, it's my books. Hi, YouTube. Well, that just makes me look smart. I'm actually live on TikTok and I'm live on Instagram. I hate how I look, but I'm not gonna restart the live. I just feel so rough today. Anyway, my name's Leah Lord. I'm your favourite mega church cult survivor. Oh, 1 second. Hello? Did you leave it? Alright, it's just off. That must be my replacement remote. Alright. This is so ghetto. But it's Leah Lord, our favourite mega church cult survivor. No, not a survivor. Also, why do you watch the content? Alright, guys. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Do you know what? YouTube, no, I can't even restart because I've done the whole thing. Alright, YouTube, this is real life and it's live. Very authentic. So I'm going to tell you what is spiritual abuse, because that's what the title is. And I am a mega church cult survivor of 18 years. I spent 18 years in what I thought was a church, and it turned out to be a cult. On TikTok, can you please like the live? Because it's so important. Do you want to tell me why you watch the lives? Otherwise, I'll just remove you. Can I? So because of my experiences, I now come on and share. I expose church cult tactics, and I expose, what it is that they do, so people are aware. I think it's really important because it's happening at such a high rate, where young people are getting recruited and indoctrinated in these spaces, and they're none the wiser. So I really just want to spread awareness and help people to understand. Karis was giving me cult vibes. I wanted to see if anyone else felt similarly, and I saw your content. Oh, okay. Do you know what? I won't block you, but what I will say is if you are on here to agree with a bad intent, I return it to sender. And I will be doing some powerful returning to sender things this week. It's the perfect time. So if you want to play with me and lie, then you'll be lying against the Holy Spirit. So it's entirely, and that's the only sin that you can commit to God. These fake Christian influencers on TikTok don't know that. That's what it is. It's the most basic. Oh, thanks for the follow. Heidi Beauty Love Nature. Thank you, my fellow queen and girly. I appreciate you, my love. So let's get into it, guys. So, oh, hi, Alpha Mal. You're all right, King. Oh, look, he called me. He said, afternoon precious. Oh, you're so sweet. That's how a real man speaks to a lady. I don't go to church anymore. Oh, all right. That's all right then. Who's that? Oh, hi. Is that... Oh, Alpha Mal. Thank you. Welcome, Samuel. All right. So spiritual ABUSE. I have to spell out a lot of things, yeah, because they report me up. Is a form of emotional and psychological ABUSE that involves using religious or spiritual abuse to control. The main thing here is that they're using spiritual beliefs or twisting and manipulating scriptures to control, manipulate, or exploit another person. So this is basically all it's about. Yeah. And that's why they recruit and target young, vulnerable people, kids basically. Because as I always say, their prefrontal cortex hasn't even, finished forming. So they're easy to influence. They're very impressionable. And so, they prey on that. They prey and they target their vulnerabilities and their weaknesses. So this type of ABUSE can occur when in various religious or spiritual contexts. So, a cult is not just, a religious institution. I talk about it from a religious institutional lens because I was attending a church cult for 18 years. However, you can get pyramid schemes, organizations that have cult characteristics. You can get schmegs cults. You can get political cults. The world-renowned cult expert Yanya Lalage was in a political cult. You can get environmental cults. I've come across families of survivors who have, family members living in the wild. They're living in the wild in environmental cults, making tents and, and they don't see their family members. They're not in, normal society. So I've heard it all. There's a lot, and then there's the New Age cults. We've had, you know, quite a few documentaries on Netflix. The Twin Flame documentary, where they've used a spiritual concept, and they've sold it the same way, and that's the same thing that they've done with Jesus Christ. They've taken, you know, a spiritual concept or belief, ideology, whatever, and they've packaged it into religion to control and manipulate people, okay? Just like they did with the twin flame thing. So it's not that the concept of twin flames is evil, because it can be very real for people, a very real, you know, spiritual experience. But even when you look at, I don't know who this is that keeps calling me. Even if you look into that, it's a very personal experience anyway. It's not something that could be done, you know, through a mediator. Similarly, I believe in this religious context with Jesus Christ, I don't think that you can package it into, you know, a religious concept like a McDonald's Happy Meal. So then anywhere you go in the world, it's like McDonald's, it's the same menu, it's the same, do you know what I mean? It's just, and that's why, yeah, I'm like enemy target like of the state. Because although I'm talking about specific religious institutions, right, guys, this is going to be a quick live, like half an hour. Although I'm talking about specific religious institutions at different times, what you need to remember is that it's like a blueprint for the most ABUSE institutions. So although I'm speaking about Paris, you know, Kingdom International Center, you know, is also offended because, you know, KIC headquarters, KICH is also offended because they have exactly the same structures, exactly the same systems, preaching exactly the same false doctrine. So then, you know, it's exposing those systems, those inequitable systems, and those, like, you know, systems of gender, hierarchy, misogyny, patriarchy, etc. Yeah. And if you come straight onto the live and you share it, we will just remove you, just because if you've just come straight on the live to share it, it's like you've only been on for 1 second. So how would you know what I'm talking about? We have a lot of people who are just here with malicious intent. And another thing is, because they're programmed to see me as the enemy, they're just against everything I do. So unfortunately, you know, have I got mods on here? Are there any mods on? Unfortunately, they don't really like, is it Monday? Monday's a bit of a, there's no time that's stagnant because you're always doing something. But for the ones who are like on the come up, you know, Mondays are a bit of a slow day for them. So they will be active. And another thing that I will say is, you know, it's young people and kids that are predominantly recruited in these settings. So it will be a lot of kids, a lot of young people. Thanks for the follow, Hope. It will be a lot of kids and a lot of young people that will be, oh, it looks like I need to be doing up modding today. There will be a lot of kids on here that will have a lot of free time because they're going on their holidays. Some of them are going into uni. A lot of them will be going into uni. So they would have got exams and stuff out of the way. So they'll have a lot of free time because I'm dealing with kids. It's like babysitting. That's why I just do up what I do up, because I'm a mother. I've got 2 kids already. And I don't want to have to come on here and parent people in my, you know, my leisure time when I've dealt with my kids already. I'll leave that to the mogs and the people who are, you know, getting monitored and getting, you know, special treatment and promises of promotion and, you know, becoming a mighty mog and whatever. So although they're not getting paid, they're getting seen. They have to meet targets. When they're meeting these targets, they're looking anointed. It's showing that, you know, what they're taking in the institution, that they're indoctrinated. They use all different words for it, that you're a spiritual daughter of the house, spiritual son of the house, strong Christian, whatever, but they just need to see that you're indoctrinated, that you're gone, you know, like the old you is gone, That's why they'll say, behold, the old is gone, behold the new, you know, like you're a new creature in Christ. They bring in, there's a lot of mystical manipulation, a lot of twisting and manipulation of the scriptures. Actually, I might go into a little bit of cult recovery as well, because I am just trying to get out as much cult psycho-ed, because I know a lot of people are leaving. And another thing that I think is going to happen is they're going to see a real decline in membership after the holiday, because I think that a lot of university students will be planning just to not go back. And what I find with the university survivors is they just leave. They plan because they've been listening, and then they just leave. Like, there are survivors from last year that told me they're going to be leaving this year, like they're waiting for September. So I will be doing some content especially for university students. Some cult exit stuff, because now is the best time to leave. If you've been in a CC, you've been on one of these cults on campus, this is the best time to leave now. When you finish university, fresh, clean slate, you won't be on the uni accommodation. You'll be back at your parents' house, or you'll be away. It will take the pressure off. There's still the anxiety of seeing them out, you know, in shopping centre, in public, things like that. But it takes off the pressure of the anxiety of having to see them on the university campus and also in the accommodation. So what I would say to university students is, you know, you can look at it like a glass half full or a glass half empty. Look at it as a glass half full. You might not be able to escape them fully, but it's a start. Just not being on, you know, uni campus with them, so forth. Yeah. All right. All right, so this type of ABUSD, and I don't really like to give it a title, spiritual ABUSD, because abuse is abuse. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but we bring in the spiritual part to just contextualize it a bit, because if you're getting gaslit, it doesn't matter whether they're doing it, you know, in the name of a mog, or in the name of a squirrel, or in the name of, you know, education, whatever. ABUSC is ABUSC, like grape is grape. Do you know what I'm saying? Like essay is essay. It doesn't matter where it's done. Hey, Queen Luciana, doesn't matter where it's done. It is what it is. But we bring in the spiritual just to bring it into context and just to understand the phenomenon around the mystical manipulation, and that is through the prophetic, through the twisting and manipulation, and out of context scriptures. Hey, Queen J, this is what I'm talking about. Guys, please like up the live. Guys, I didn't even need to come on live, you know, because I came on earlier and my energy levels are so low. So please like it out. I'm coming out of a manic depressive episode that I was in for several days. Well, it was for weeks. I was getting really bad ideations, and I really was just like, can't do it anymore. Can't do this anymore. And I got out of it. Man. I went and reconnected with nature, grounded myself with the earth. And do you know what? They can call it whatever they want. I don't. Me not care. 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 Because when I'm in my room and I fail to believe myself and no one else is there, I pick up myself and I go to the grass and I go to my tree. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm doing what I got to do to save myself, yeah? Because I've got 2 kids that I'm trying to grow. And I got a lot of trauma from this setting. But you know what? I'm not going to hate. I've never been a hater, not a day in my life. Never been a hater. Never going to start to be one. Do you get me? That's what makes me who I am. Because I'm a queen. You know what? I came from the gutter. I came from nothing. And let me tell you something. I'm not trying to condone GMs and, you know, this type of lifestyle, but that's where I'm coming from. And let me tell you something, babe. Even when I had nothing, I had the hood celebs, babe, eating out of the palm of my hand. You know them ones. There's names I can still call out today. That's still very much relevant. Like, let's not ever get it twisted. So even when I had nothing, I was broke. little girl from the hood, I was still getting the creme de la creme. Do you know what I mean? I know who I am. I'm that. So I don't need, and that's where I think God's had to bring me back to like this place of humility, like just stripped back to just Leah. And it's more than enough. I am enough. Like that's what I've had to work through, like the self-love. Because let me tell you something, yeah, when you come out of these cults, these environments, you will have to start again. You're starting your life over like nothing was real. The people that can't start over and deconstruct properly and like be, I don't want to say just deconstruct and be free, they're the ones that will church cult hop. Guys, if I don't get to 1K, I'm gonna have to go on TikTok. I can't lie, because if there's just people sitting here watching but no one supporting the live, I'm gonna have to go because there's no reciprocal energy. And also this is one of my like accounts. No, I thought I was on my backup. This is another backup account, but we need to be liking up the live because that's how it gets locked off. So if people aren't liking up the live, the way TikTok works is that I'll have to go, because you know how the AI and everything works, guys. So I literally won't be able to stay. So I'll give it like another 5 minutes. And if it doesn't get to where it needs to go, guys, I'm going to have to go. I can't even lie. Because I'm not looking to get my accounts locked off anymore. That's why I'm trying to be a bit more calm. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, I just remembered I need to take my ting gel. Let me put it here so I don't forget. All right. Let's get into it, guys, because I really do want to get this done in like 10 minutes. 15 minutes max. All right, so we're going to look at some of the key characteristics of spiritual ABUSE, which is absolutely imperative, especially if you're in a situation where you've just started attending a religious setting and, you're trying to like, see if there's any red flags, this, that, and the third. All right, so the first one is coercive and controlling behavior. So this type of ABUSE often involves a systematic pattern of coercive and controlling behavior where the abuser manipulates or dominates the victim through religious or spiritual beliefs. So this can also be done in the guise of, manipulation and conviction, but it will be, they'll say it's conviction, but it's guilt. So like, if you don't come to these meetings, you're not a serious candidate, you're not potential marriage material. And do you see how this starts to get interwoven into the like fabrics of the systems? Because now the ladies feel a pressure to have to be at every single thing, especially if they like a guy. Imagine if you come in with a guy and then he starts getting really serious, and then you're there and then they're preaching all the time about the wife getting taken seriously, to be chosen, you've got to be doing the work of the ministry. God rewards people who are faithful, who serve, who everything's about serving. So that's why I'm saying, like, majority of the women that are in there, they don't even have a personal relationship with God. They're just in there because they're retired 304s. And that's the only way that they're going to get a spouse. And that's on period point. Like, I know them. I've seen them in there. All of them type of gal. When it gets to that point, they get to a point where it's like they've done everything and everyone. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it gets to the point now where everybody knows them. They're friends with everyone in the clubs. Hey, Gems, they're friends with everyone in the clubs, chair. Do you know what I'm saying? So they go in here, and this is purely for that purpose. Especially, the worst kind that are in there are usually the ones that have like one child, and the BD don't want to know them. And then they go in there, and then when they get married and they just act like that doesn't stink. Like, the way they break down women in there is crazy. I've got so many stories to tell, Chair. This is all based off real life case studies. How can you have a child with someone? The BD don't want to know you or the you. Thanks for the follow, babe. I'm going to get to your question. The BD don't want to know you or the you. Then you marry someone else who's already got a you, and you're not encouraging that man who you end up marrying to see their you. And you're letting this man raise the child that the other man doesn't check for. So you've taken someone else's dad away from them to raise your you. You see the type of women in these spaces. That's why you see me, if I'm going to wish anything upon my ENEMY, is to end up in one of these church cults and marry one of these women in there. That's why they think I wish badness on them. They think I send curses and do whatever. No, baby. Y'all been in there. That's enough for me. Just y'all been in there. Just y'all been in there. I'm not trying to get anyone out, babe. I'm getting justice. I'm getting justice for the people, because there are some people that God still wants to get out. But I'm getting justice for the people outside. I don't care about the people in the four walls. I've never been called to the people in the four walls. I always stood up. I always brought the real people that Christ came to save into the church. That's what I was doing. That's why everyone knows me. They try to come on and deny me, like I'm not known in these streets. Like I weren't really trying to be doing up the work of the ministry. You're having a laugh. How many people have you not heard come on these live? 18 years of my life, you think no one's going to know about me? I was in a self-sealing system. So if you came into paths with me in that self-sealing system, you're going to know me. And then you want to try and come and deny me after given 18 years of my life. Oh, you're having a bubble. What is a church cult? It's a high control group that operates within a religious institutional dynamic involving the doctrine of the CHURCH. Yeah. So it's a cult, a high control group disguised as that religious setting. That's what it is. So this is why I talk about spiritual ABUSE. I talk about cult characteristics, because if the institution, the religious institution that you're attending on a Sunday, or if it is a cult, you'll be attending every day, you will not be able to recognize these cult characteristics, and the manipulative way that the scriptures are taught, this will be unrecognizable to you, because there's absolutely no way that I'd be able to get into your psyche and sow a seed of confusion if it was the truth. Because the words of Christ, they don't bring confusion. So if you've been taught something outside of that, you will feel confused when you hear me, unfortunately. Because Christ spoke in a way like parables, and that's why it's like whatever, babe. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like, I love people underestimating me. It's my secret power. I've been underestimated my whole life. Guys, don't feel sad if people underestimate you. Let people underestimate you. Play DUMB. That's what I do. I play the DUMB blonde, and I have like for everybody, I have like a checklist, like a marker just in my head. It's just like a mental note. Thank you, Queen Lisa. It's just a mental note, like I'm just watching you. Like, okay. I'm highly intelligent and a highly intuitive, sensitive person. And that's why you need to spend time with yourself alone. Because what I've realized is I'm learning to trust like my inner self. So when I have that gut reaction, or I get that feeling, or I know certain parts of my body, when to stop talking, when to talk, when to not, it's all about connecting mind, body, and soul. But that's what they want to cut you off from. They want to disconnect you and detach you from mind, body, and soul. That's why they demonize it and say, oh, that's new age. That's like, new age. New age? Is it new age, or have the new agers done exactly what they've done to Christianity as to what they've done with spirituality that's been there like it's ancient practices, and they've just packaged it the same way? That's why new age is human fecal matter. They've packaged it in. Some things might come under new age, but people don't class themselves, because it's just another, it's a new religious movement. That's what new age is. So if you go from new age to Christianity, you've NRM hopped, you've new religious movement hopped, cult hopped, chair. That's all you've done. So that's why that Doreen Virtue, that woman that used to do the tarot cards with the angels and whatever, she's a devout fundamentalist religion. But when I looked into it, it's just because the husband converted. You know what these gal them are like. But let me tell you something. There's more money in the religious institution than there is in new age. There's more money, there's more support, there's more backing. So did you see that woman, Nana Agrada? Have I said her name right? From Ghana. She was a fetish priest, spiritualist, and all of a sudden she came to know Christ, and she was doing up prophet and pastor and whatever, and she had this double money scam that she did up with the congregation and ran off with their money and was saying you were DMB for believing me in the first place. And when she was a fetish priestess, she used to do like manipulation spells and rituals. She used to sell it. there's just so much naivety. So, you know, if you see someone who's jumped from like one extreme thought practice or belief and then gone really extreme into another one, there's just a lot of trauma. And sometimes, guys, these people are highly manipulative. Once they work out it's all vanity and these people are highly naive, I can finesse them and I can get money out of them, because it's a dark place. Once they clock the darkness in there, like the occult, and they clock it, once they clock it, the occultists and the spiritualists, they've infiltrated it, because there's just been an infiltration. It's been an infiltration. So that's why I'm telling people, like, go with him, because it's not safe. Hey, Sahara, you all right, babe? It's not safe at the moment, guys. Just like stay in your yard, man. Look at what I've been doing. Thanks, Queen. I appreciate you so much. You know, go and find a nice place. I've been letting you lot into like my intimate, like my intimate places, like the stuff I do, like my personal relationship with God, things I never thought I'd share with anyone else. I'm doing it to show there's another way. Go into nature, man. Before we had the temples and the synagogue, like when Christ was here, he preferred to be in nature, like out, you know, in the mountains and the grass, you know, like that's what I'm saying. You get it? No, I don't class myself. I don't signify as a Christian. No, a Christian is a man-made concept, my love. When the disciples, including the female ones, including the apostle to the apostles, Mary Magdalene, I just want to let you know, my love, that they were just called followers of the way. All right, just followers of the way. That is a man-made social construct. Yeah, I don't even think Yeshua knows what it is, my love. You know, a lot of people will say Lord, Lord, and he'll say, I don't know you. You get me? I think he'll even say, I don't know the name, Jer. He's going to be very, very... We don't really ask these questions on here, Sibylle, because this isn't a religious space. It's not a Christian space. And people that have been on here long enough know my stance. If I want to talk about it, I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to be, you know, asked questions that just have nothing to do with the topic of what I'm talking about. So if you keep doing it, you will just get removed. I'm just letting you know, because there's a lot of people who are triggered because we've come from highly ABUSE religious environments, and some people don't believe in Jesus. They don't even want to talk about it or hear about it. So when I talk about it, it's not whether what I believe and whether I believe this or that. It's got no bearing to spiritual abuse, because when you're in university and your lecturer's teaching you something, whether that's psychology, because I do have a master's in social work, a distinction, and I do have a youth and community work degree, first class, and I'm a specialist in working with high control groups, gangs. I've been doing it my whole life, over 20 years of experience actually, and a specialist in grief, bereavement and trauma. So I'm actually qualified to lecture at this point. Yeah. So what I'm going to say to you is you don't be asking them up, are you Buddhist, are you this, are you that? You listen so that you can get the knowledge. So if you don't have the knowledge that I have, maybe it's best to stop asking irrelevant questions about religion and perhaps just listen, because then you might learn something. Because then if you don't, what that's given us is the energy that you're trying to disrupt it and try and catch me out if I believe in and I love Christ. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not in the way that the religious Pharisees do. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if Christ was to come back tomorrow, Christ could come in my house, I would recognize him. He could come and eat, he could have a shower, he could do... If Christ was to go to Caris or First Love, he would get reprimanded. He wouldn't be able to get up to that stage, baby. He wouldn't even be able to get the mic. I will give Christ my bed to sleep in. Do you see where I'm going with this, my love? Yeah, because I don't walk past the homeless man. Yeah, because I'm rushing to go ministry. I'm woke, I'm aware, I'm in the present. I realize that I can't pray for people and they're going to get miraculous manna that's going to fall down from heaven like the Israelites. I don't say, you're homeless and you have no money to eat. I pray that the Lord will release manna from the heavens like the Israelites. I don't do that. I go into McDonald's and I buy them a Big Mac meal, my love. Yeah, I go and buy them a couple of bottles of water so that they can wash their skin. All right, okay, cool. I'm not going to pray that the Lord will send rain to cleanse their body, yeah, because faith without works is unalive. So one thing about me that you actually might need to know from the jump, if you're going to continue to come on here, is I'm very spiritual, babe. That's why I've been chosen to be doing this up, because a lot of people are scared. Yeah, there's a lot of people scared to speak out. That's why they've been getting away with this ish for so long. It's only since I came on the scene that people are having to calm it down. Yeah? And this is not a physical thing, because what am I doing physically? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's why I said, and I'm going in 5. That's why I said when I first started speaking out, I'm not, yeah, I want justice, but it comes in different parts, because we have to approach this at a bio-psycho-social level. Do you see why now, babe, Sibley, I was saying to just listen and not ask me whether I'm this or that. Just take the knowledge. It doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter if I got my back blown out 5 minutes before I came on the live. All of that's irrelevant, because you don't ask a doctor when he's about to do life-saving surgery on you, whether he's LGBT. You don't ask the dentist when your tooth is aching you and you can't do nothing. You're not asking the dentist if they're Muslim or if they're this or if they're that. So this is why part of every interaction you'll get with me, you'll be getting deconstructed and deprogrammed in the car. Because if you're going to be on here, I never know where I'm going to go with this, and I need people to be open. Because there's been a lot of lies, there's been a lot of deception, there's been a lot of burying of sacred texts and knowledge that we have not been privy to have access to. And in 2025, where we've got AI, ChatGPT, all different, we've got access to information at our fingertips. No need for libraries anymore. They can't destroy the temples anymore, guys. Don't you get it? They can't destroy the temples. We are the temple. And in 2025, this dimension, all of it, most of what Christ was saying was metaphoric, parables, mysteries. We are the temple, and we are seeing that in 2025. Why? Because this new dimension, the virtual reality, is taking us to, we're seeing another seal of this multi-dimensional universe that we live in. And I'm going to end it here. Woo! Wasn't that great? I love that. Did you love it, guys? I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back later. I won't leave you hanging, but I've got to go and collect the children. I've got to do my mummy run. Mum on the run. So I've got to go. I shall be back later. If I've got a little 10-15 minutes before I catch the girls, then I'll come back on. But if not, I'll be on later. Love you, TikTok. I'm going to go first, because you know how it is. All right, Insta, love you. Got related tutorials. I knew it. That Sibley one is a general. But it doesn't matter anyway, because you know me. It was a quick one. I just do quick lives now. Jumping. Catch me if you can, bitch. Bye, babe. Love you, Queen Lucia. Bye, YouTube. It's catch me if you can. That's the vibes. You ain't gonna get me or whatever. I'm too hot to handle. That's what it is in the car.